Hello, welcome to another video on daily weather charts. These videos diagnose the current weather pattern and discuss how it will play out for the upcoming day. Today's charts are valid for June 28th, 2023. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe and we'll get started. And starting today with the infrared imagery, and what this is looking for is the temperature of our cloud tops. And so the brighter colors you see on this image here, the colder the cloud tops are, and that indicates where we have stronger thunderstorms. And so we got a few different clusters of storms. We got one over Mississippi, and then we have several different clusters of storms over the northern United States. One that is particularly intense over uh, northern Oklahoma and Kansas. And we'll look at the radar imagery for this evening. You've got some scattered showers and storms that are in advance of a cold front over the northeastern U.S. and down through the eastern seaboard. We have a decaying cluster of storms that were over Mississippi earlier this evening, and then back to the west over the high plains. We have several different rounds of storms that are ongoing, and this round over in northern Oklahoma and Kansas has produced some pretty significant straight line winds, several gusts well in excess of 80 miles per hour that were reported. And so before we go into the upper air maps, I want to first show the watch and warning map. And the main story for this week is going to be the heat over the southern United States. We have several different heat advisories that are in effect over the southern United States. We have, this also includes some excessive heat watches and warnings as well. So far, most of the extreme heat has been over Texas, but that is soon going to change, and that's going to be migrating to the east as we go later into the week. And so that is what's prompting the National Weather Service offices to go ahead and issue excessive heat watches for a bunch of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. And we're going to investigate as to why this is and here in just a moment. But especially by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, we're going to be seeing widespread afternoon highs in the lower triple digits, with heat indices greater than 110 possible. So now looking into our upper air maps, we're starting at 300 millibars, and we are looking for the jet stream. Jet stream is currently located over the northern United States, broadly speaking, and this is creating some pretty strong ventilation aloft over the Dakotas, where we see our upper level divergence contoured. This divergence here, of course, as we know, creates rising motion in the atmosphere, and this vertical motion is also associated with a 500 millibar shortwave over the high plains. We'll see here that's contoured, and this is also helping to enhance the uplift in the atmosphere that's causing some of those storms that we saw earlier. Also, at 500 millibars, we have a pretty broad upper level ridging over much of the United States, and that is centered over Texas currently, and that is going to be migrating to the east as we go through the next few days. We can kind of think of this, especially towards the summertime, we can think of this ridging here as kind of a heat bubble, where we have increasing 500 millibar heights, and what that means is that when the atmosphere warms, it expands. And so that is what's creating the increasing heights at 500 millibars. And we can kind of use that as kind of a guide to tell how hot the atmosphere is going to be. So also at 500 millibars, we have stronger 500 millibar winds traversing the Rockies. And as we know, that creates broad cyclonic flow. We see outlined here across the central Rockies this evening. We also have a low-level jet that is located over the Great Plains that is about 20 to 30 knots. And that is helping to initiate the mass response down at the surface. And so we look at the surface map for today. We have a low pressure system over Canada, and that is dragging a cold front down through the far eastern United States. That's going to be moving offshore over the next day or so. And then back to the west, we have some moisture return that is coming up from the Gulf, with 70-degree dew points coming up into northern Oklahoma and into far southwest Kansas. And then there's another low pressure system developing as a result from the increase in upper level support. that we saw earlier. And even though we do have that cold front that's going to be moving offshore, most of the colder air is going to be remaining up in this general area, so over the Ohio Valley in the northeastern United States. So as a result, from the increasing 500 millibar heights, that colder air is not going to be getting down into the south over the next few days. So kind of buckle up for that, and definitely take precautions as necessary. So that's going to cover it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.